Okay, I was a little bit rambling on my last video, so I'm gonna try to make it a little bit more clearer. Maybe I'll even edit this up, and make it look all pretty and stuff. So, all right, now I'm gonna explain how the universe was created, right? So the universe was created like this, right? This is the universe, right? We're all gods, and we're all gods living on Earth. That is the way we're designed, right? So I'm explaining to you, I'm gonna prove you 5 different ways, right? How we're all gods, and that we're all living in the simulation of God living through us. And I can tell you exactly why do we live. But if I got run out of time, I'll figure maybe I'll do it, whatever. But anyway, number 1, right? We've looked and looked and looked all across the entire galaxy and found no other life nowhere else. But yet, we have a ball that all of these people, these little living organisms, these perfectly constructed organisms came about from and was able to reside on this globe, right? So on one continent, you got Indians, you got people from India, you got Europeans, you got Africans, you got all these other variations of different species developing throughout the planet. We know this for a fact because of DNA. So we can't all have come from one person when we found that is genetically impossible. So that means that somehow we were on this ball and life just randomly started appearing all over the globe, right? So we're supposed to believe that. What I'm saying makes more sense. That somehow we were designed and put on this planet in different locations, right? So like, let's say for instance, in Africa, you got a Honda. Then inside of North Antarctica, you got a Tesla, and I don't know nothing about cars, because and then on one side you got a BMW, and on another side, let me look around, you got a GMC, and all of these different people are placed in different locations by accident, strategically, right? And they create their own culture separately. Black people live one way, white people live another way. That's what's going on in a lot of countries to this day, that they're fighting because their culture is feeling like it's being taken away and stripped away from them, because these are the people who were born here, and they began to take up certain values. Okay, so that's the only thing that makes sense, is that all of these things have to happen simultaneously. So how is that possible, that all these different life forms happen simultaneously, unless it was by design? So if it was done by design, then number 1, clearly someone did that. Okay, number 2, you are only born through an umbilical cord. We are all tied together through an umbilical cord, which means that God started somewhere along this genetic train with giving us through his umbilical cord, or its umbilical cord. So when they say I am made in God's likeness, that means somehow, some way, there must have been some sort of umbilical cord bursts around the planet, because that's the only way we're all born. We're born through an umbilical cord. So clearly, we can't make a teddy bear. Human beings can't make another species. So clearly, we would put here and design from a manufacturer. Some of us came from a GMC manufacturer. Some of us came from a Honda manufacturer. But we all clearly came from a different manufacturer, because the amount of detail in each automobile. There's so much detail in each and every last living organism. So clearly that came from somewhere else. Okay. So that's number 2. Number 3, how is it even remotely possible that we could be the only organisms that exist out there, and yet we can't find anywhere else? But there's so much life teeming going here. We're like, well, we've looked everywhere. We just can't find oxygen or sun or any of these other circumstances that'll work together. So clearly, some other design. Number 5, my last one. This one, I'm gonna go into the darn zeros and ones, man. Now, for instance, right, for a perfect circle to exist, right? It, like, let's say for instance you got this this little dot right here, right? And it was the expand, or like in quantum mechanics was the, I'm not even gonna try to touch on that, like I know what I'm talking about, but it's the idea that an object can exist in multiple spaces at the same time. So if this ball right here was to expand in every single direction at the same time, the perfect shape that it creates is a circle, which is a O, which is a, you know, zeros and ones again. I say zero, but I mean a circular shape, right? And the one is the distance from the center to the other location. That's how we start making measurements. About, you know, like all measurement is based on, like, you know, 1.1 or 0 point something or 0.0 point something. It's some sort of measurement of that could be placed on a physical line, a one. And if you go in every single direction with that one, you come up with a circle, a zero. When a man is attracted to another woman, he's attracted to her zeros. When a man ejaculates into a woman, he is ejaculating his zeros into his ones and his ones. When a woman vagina is a zero followed by a one to go inside of her. We'll all look at that zero and that one, getting it on. That's all it is. Like, we're all a bunch of zeros, whole bunch of carbon things mushed together. And the design is just like, I'm sitting there thinking, like, there's going to be somebody out here that's going to, like, point this together, man. So here, check it, right? Now we got a being that's all-knowing, all-powerful, all things, right? It's come up with making this universe in the form of zeros and ones, like a black hole, a zero, you know, saying the moon, a zero. They don't know what the moon is doing. Like, oh my God, how is that right there? How is this white object in space? If you look up how many times they've hit, I'll probably put it in the video. I don't know. I had it. I just be throwing things up. Y'all can look it up. But they've dug and dug and dug to try to find out what's inside of the moon, right? They don't know. The weird thing is that every time they hit the moon, they get a bell sound. Or bell reaction. It just reverbs it back to them. Like, it's like God said, this is none of your business. Neil Armstrong and the two astronauts went into space, right? They said there was a red dot following them the first time the man went into space. Both of them didn't see it. I forgot which one saw it. But he said that he felt like it was following him, like he kept reaching out to him. It's another story you can look up about it, about them seeing a red dot, like these astronauts seeing a red dot the first time they entered space, right? God was like, yo, what are you doing out here? If we leave the earth, right, the further out in space we go, the faster we age. No. The faster time expands on earth. One or the other. This is some sort of weird time dilation thing. I don't know. But what I do know is that God said, you're not leaving here. I made this whole planet perfect for you. That's why people kill me when they say things like, yo, I'm not perfect. Only God can be perfect. Yo, you got the same DNA as God, man. Why do you think that we flock to concerts when we hear someone with a beautiful voice? We're acting like, yo, there's something godly about that. There's two parts in our body that is the most active to physical stimuli, right? Our mouth and our genitals. The reason why is God said, I want you to eat and I want you to procreate. You can eat something. Someone can take a bite of something and go, oh my God, that's delicious. You know why? Because God said, yo, that tastes good, don't it? Keep on eating, keep on living. My video's about to end, about to hit the 10-minute mark. And the other thing is sex. I ain't got to tell you how beautiful sex is with the zeros and the ones going in and out of each other over and over again. Sex is a beautiful thing. You know why? Because God said, you want to do that, don't you? You want to have a kid, don't you? But you know what's funny? Don't attack the homosexual community, because God said, you know something? I would like to know what it feels like to have my ass played with. So that's why homosexuality is a thing. But that's my video, because God said for you to live and experience. I'll make more of these videos if you want. You know, I don't know. I'm having fun with it now. But they're all going to be 10 minutes long, and I'm going to try to explain as much as I possibly can on how we are made in God's likeness, and it is a beautiful thing God made this planet for you to live, and he made it in zeros and ones. Look at this. Your hand is a big old flat, basic flat slate. But then you start putting the lines on it. Then you got the ones. Zeros and ones. Enjoy life.